Hello and welcome to A Slice of Pie, the semi-weekly newsish show that we do on this channel. We actually almost missed this week, almost entirely. It's just been a really crazy week for us. So yeah, roll intro. How's everybody doing? Honestly, we have been doing a lot behind the scenes to try to improve our workflow and many other things, and I kind of messed up a little bit. You see, I'm trying to figure out how to harness the power of this camera, and I haven't quite figured it out yet. And I tried to record all day today. I was recording for several hours, and when I ingested the footage and looked at it, I found out that it's unusable. So I'm probably going to have to spend more time learning this, but at least I'm recording content now. I'm using the automatic settings for now because I can't quite figure out the manual ones that well. But something I have improved on is actually my editing. I personally decided to spend an afternoon just kind of watching videos about editing, and I can say without a doubt that I am a lot happier with what I am capable of doing now than when I started. I tried to follow Taryn's video from Linus Tech Tips and I got a little lost, and I ended up on a Hardware Connects video. Digressing a little bit, let's actually talk about the stuff going on in the tech and gaming industries, because we got some interesting things. Usually we don't get leaks from Mac OS, but Big Navi has been spotted on Mac OS. This is entirely for the Mac Pro because I'm assuming Apple just wants to support the newest AMD GPUs on that platform, as it would be a benefit to them. That being said, there's also a listing for an even bigger Navi card, which we don't even know about yet. But seeing it in Mac OS means that we're probably going to be seeing it pretty soon. Honestly, like with how many rumors are coming out about AMD and Nvidia right now, I do honestly believe that we're probably going to be seeing them back to back within the next couple months. Speaking of Mac OS though, something interesting is happening right now with Apple. They're looking to get rid of Intel. And no, they're not going with AMD. They're planning on switching to ARM. ARM is what's in your cell phone. ARM processors are often very low power and kind of high efficiency. The main selling point to ARM is what it does with what it gets is actually impressive. That's the whole reason ARM is interesting as a whole. But, you know, Apple has professional grade products, and ARM traditionally hasn't had the horsepower to actually drive those products. Now, Adobe has made some strides in that area, and they're very proud of it. But, and there's a huge but in this, it's still not going to have the same kind of editing potential that something like this running x86 instructions would have. But if Apple can kind of crack the code and actually balance power and performance in a way that hasn't been seen before, I bet you we will see a lot more ARM processors in laptops, because that is an area where if we can bridge the gap, we would see the most benefit. Speaking of Intel though, they are really not having a good week, especially because, well, they put out a marketing slide that's just, well, it's just misleading. And it's kind of bad that a company of Intel's caliber would try to mislead the public in such a way. This slide actually compares an AMD and an Intel laptop. The problem is the Intel laptop is running a brand new graphics card in it that the AMD laptop does not have. And that graphics card is probably accounting for most of the performance. And if Intel were being honest, they still probably would have a 2 to 3% lead, but that doesn't look as impressive as 20%. Because they used a completely different graphics card, it's not an apples to apples comparison, and it makes Intel look bad as well. It looks like they're trying to mislead the public. Now, while we have rumors for AMD, Nvidia has actually done something this week. They have updated their drivers for DirectX 12 Ultimate Edition. Now, no, this is not some DLC for your DirectX. It is actually a pretty feature-rich upgrade to the existing DirectX 12 API? I think it's called an API. Either way, it is actually a pretty significant upgrade that adds even more ray tracing potential. The fact that Nvidia is already trying to support it means that we are probably going to see some new ray tracing features that we've never even heard of in our current GPUs. That all being said, until AMD also gets on there, it's hard to get super excited about it because personally, the cards that I've been testing have been all AMD. But now we got an Nvidia rumor. So we've got an unknown Nvidia GPU on TimeSpy, and it kills the 2080 Ti, which is awesome. But it could be anything, to be completely honest. There are 3 rumored GPUs that this could be, and one of them would be really exciting. It would mean that there's a 30% uplift in IPC, and that would be a 3080 Ti, so apples to apples, 30%. But it could be a super variant, which would also be exciting, or it could be like a Titan equivalent, which would be less exciting because the Titans are always expensive, and that really is only like a 15 to 20% increase. Not to mention Kingpin actually got that score, or well, actually got higher than that score entirely with nitrogen cooling, liquid nitrogen cooling. So, I mean, it could be that it's a heavily modded 2080 Ti that's got like a weird BIOS on it that specifically trips up the TimeSpy. There are a lot of things that could be happening here. So it could be an actual test card, it could be a weird overclock, it could be all sorts of things. All right, let's talk about some fun stuff here. This thing came across and I was like, I want it, but at the same time, I don't know how to use it. This radiator is amazing. This thing won't fit in any case I have ever seen. You pretty much need to replace the back panel of your PC if you want to fit this in a case. And I kind of love that idea. Like it could be a really fun mod to do. Problem is, it would also be a very difficult one to do on a case that's not like the Core P3 right over here. It might actually work with that, but I don't know. I might or might not see how that would work out. I mean, it's actually really affordable at like only $102. It actually is like one of those things that I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah, I could really waste money on that. Because, well, realistically, that radiator, this one right here, the 420, was still like 90 bucks. So like it's affordable in the high-end water cooling sense, but not really that cheap. Another thing that I would want, but I definitely don't know how to use, Western Digital is releasing an all NVMe storinator like solution, and I immediately looked at this thing and went, you know, I bet you this is going to show up in the Linus Tech Tips video. This thing is all NVMe storage. They're using a specialized daughter board that allows it to dock in like a traditional mass storage solution. It's obviously aimed at compute applications that require large amounts of fast storage, not necessarily a YouTuber who just wants to somehow speed up the editing workflow that they've got going to their servers. So I often forget that the pre-built market is a thing, and that Dell is a massive player in that market, and that they actually have a brand that isn't Alienware that's gaming related. I know it's kind of weird because you would think if you've got like this high-end gaming brand that you wouldn't have a secondary gaming line, but they do, and I actually think it looks better than the Alienwares. To be completely honest, this PC looks pretty nice. But from what I can tell, it's already using proprietary and weird connectors, so don't try to modify this one too much. You might be able to get a new graphics card in it, but I wouldn't buy it as a base for you to upgrade later. Speaking of other pre-builds though that I would actually buy if I didn't know how to build my own PC, Corsair makes them. And I completely forget this. Like quite frequently that Corsair makes them and also owns a boutique building company. So I was surprised to see this new Vengeance PC running Ryzen, and that's kind of awesome actually. This is just another pre-built that is actually got Ryzen on the inside, and it is a gaming PC, which a couple of years ago would have been impossible. Not to mention they also released a Corsair 1 with Ryzen as well, which is awesome because the Corsair 1 is the only pre-built PC I have ever seriously considered buying after learning how to build this stuff. It's impossibly small and it would look really good in a living room setup. So this case is kind of cool, entirely for a weird reason and a future project. I keep talking about future projects, but like everything this week was like, I could do something with that. I want that. So Silverstone is releasing a case that actually attaches to the back of a monitor via face mounts, which is actually fairly interesting all in itself. But just picture this. You've got a grandma who uses nothing but all-in-ones and they're a pain in the ass to work on and you're her personal tech support. That's why I want this case. If I build her a PC, yeah, I will know how to fix it at least. I might even be able to put Sneak Linux onto it, and then I won't have to worry about whatever she clicks on Facebook. Moving on. All right, let's talk about some game news because there's some fun stuff going on right now. Animal Crossing added swimming again. Yes, I just restarted playing it because I really needed to relax today. I've had to time travel like 5 hours behind so that my wacky sleep schedule actually lines up 2 times in the game. But yeah, kind of excited about that. That was actually one of the features that sold me on New Leaf. As weird as that sounds, like when I saw that you could swim, I was like, oh, exploration. Crash 4, it's about time. That is actually the name of the game. It's coming out. And the reveal trailer for it was just so good. Like there was Jeff Keighley, he was doing like his like not E3 thing. And then like the Crash mascot with a mask. Best part is they put a mask on the mascot, you know, cause Corona. And it was just such a good trailer. And then there's like this DLC at the end of it that's like the totally tubular DLC. All that stuff I love. It's being marketed towards people like myself who played the original games. Pokemon Snap 2. Oh my goodness. Speaking of stuff from the 90s coming back, Pokemon Snap. I remember the kiosk when I was a wee child and there was a Blockbuster. And yeah, I think I demoed the game from Blockbuster, but I don't ever remember owning it. I'm excited that it's coming back though, just because, well, I played it on the Virtual Console and I liked it there, so I'm gonna like the new one anyway. Speaking of things I've got from Blockbuster, Podracing. It's back on the Switch. It's actually been released. It is a 1-to-1 port of the Nintendo 64 pod racing game, and it's all of its ridiculous glory. I don't know how you would describe this other than insane. I know some people were huge fans of this game. I don't think I ever got that far. My parents played it, and again, it was a Blockbuster rental, so you only have a certain amount of time before you have to give it back, and I don't think it was enough time for us to really get that far. But it was enjoyable. It was difficult, if I remember correctly, and now it's on the Switch. You can brush your teeth with Pokemon now. I know that was probably not the next game you guys were thinking I was going to talk about, but hey, I honestly might download this just to try it. Might make a funny video. But Pokemon, actually, the company released a game with no microtransactions, no cost, entirely to help kids brush their teeth, which is interesting, to say the least. And then, hey, there's a new Kingdom Hearts game coming. Yeah, we went so long without any games, and now we got a rhythm game. Well, okay, I want to say that this would be just one of those things that you could skip over, but don't do that, because the end of the trailer was story drops and reveals, and now we have to play it because we know we're gonna find out more about Kairi in that game because they actually revealed that in the trailer. So you're gonna have to buy it if you want to know more about Kingdom Hearts. And now the convoluted storylines and timelines are all just going to continue to happen, and we're going to have to try to memorize exactly when did Kairi meet Sora, and why is Sora so important to Kairi, and then where does Riku fit in, and then all of the other stuff. Actually, that pretty much is the surface level stuff. We get into really weird stuff when we get into Ventus and Aqua and Terra. If you don't know who the heck I'm talking about, you obviously haven't played Kingdom Hearts 3. All right, let's end on one final tech industry story. Mixer is dead, and Ninja has been freed to do what Ninja does. Honestly, nothing I know about Ninja, I know because I care. I entirely know everything due to proximity of his sheer popularity. I knew about Mixer because Ninja was sold to Mixer. And I knew that his channel had adult films on it because he was the biggest Twitch streamer. So yeah, it's gonna be awkward when he comes back to Twitch and he's gotta dust off all of the cobwebs and various things that were on his channel. And yeah, I'm sure it's probably very awkward for him. Microsoft is trying to push everyone to Facebook gaming, which don't do. So yeah, that's gonna end it for us today. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, you can leave a like, comment, subscribe. I do content like this every other week, but I do other tech content every week. So I thank you guys again. Wolfie